Welcome to the Big Four Accounting Firms podcast, brought to you by big4accountingfirms.com. If you enjoy our show, don't forget to help us out by subscribing to this podcast, sharing it with a friend, and providing us with a review on iTunes. Check out the show notes below for the link. Thanks, and enjoy the show.
Today, we're going to be discussing one of the biggest services that the Big Four will be offering to clients in 2018. And that service is tax services. Now, why is this the case as opposed to other years? This is the case because U.S. tax reform has been signed into law in the United States. President Trump signed the bill on December 22nd, 2017. Now, why is this such a big deal? This is such a big deal because the law was passed in such a short period of time and will impact companies immediately. They have to reflect the impact of tax reform in their 2017 financials, since you have to value your deferred taxes based on enacted rates. This will impact their balance sheets and their income statements. And this means that many accounts will be working around the clock over the next few weeks and months solely on the financial statement impacts of tax reform. Then after that, they will be working on tax planning. All the tax planning that companies have completed over the past few years or even decades will have to be reanalyzed and reconfigured. Some companies will even have to change their value chain and operations to become tax efficient under the new regime. And changing your operations and your value chain isn't something that tax people are experts at. So this means that the Big Four get really lucky here and they get a double hit. They get the tax revenues from tax services, and they'll also pull in their consulting branches to help companies move their operations around so that they can be more tax efficient. Now, what does this mean for all of you out there in Big Four land? It means that if you want to work in a practice that is set to grow into the future, then you don't have to look any further than the tax practice of the Big Four. This will be causing headaches for companies for years to come as they get their heads around this new legislation. And also, the IRS will be releasing new forms and new procedures to audit those new forms. And companies will need help with all the change that is going on right now in the U.S. tax system and even in the global tax system in general. And that's where the Big Four will come in. And the Big Four will help these companies with all their tax service offerings. And the Big Four will be combing over tax reform and working to understand it and helping clients implement their tax reform plans and how they respond to tax reform. And another thing that will happen is that other countries in the world will probably react to this new legislation, and they will make their own changes to their tax systems as well in reaction to the United States. So to stay up to date on how tax reform will impact the Big Four, make sure to subscribe to this podcast.
We appreciate your help in growing this podcast so we can continue to bring you the best Big Four content possible. You could help us out by providing a review on iTunes, sending us an email with your comments, and don't forget to share with your friends. There's a link below in the show notes. That's our show for today. Thanks for listening and have a great day.